Arizona, for whatever the reason. She understands the problem, and the problem has gotten worse. It's not gotten better, of which they want to tell us. We know that it hasn't gotten better. It's something that they need to step up. They need to step up and do the job that they are responsible for, and we're going to continue sending that message out. I have encouraged everybody that I know in any manner that they can to contact the White House and let them know that we are not going to put up with it. America is not going to put up with it.
Well, I don't mean to put salt in the wound about Governor Napolitano, now Homeland Security Napolitano, but it certainly seems that this is as much of a national security issue as, and I don't mean to pit one catastrophe against another catastrophe, but it certainly seems that, you know, if the president assembled his cabinet for the Gulf, that maybe the president should assemble his cabinet to meet your problems here in this state, because these are real problems.
I think that the administration on a whole has tried to ignore the problem. Maybe they don't know how to deal with it, and if they don't, then they need to find somebody that can deal with it. It is a frustrating situation that we have been put into because they haven't did their job, and we're gonna force them. We're gonna force them to do the job. They're gonna pay attention.
Tomorrow's a big day. But, you know,
it is a big day.
Tomorrow's a big day, so we'll be anxious to see. All right, SB 1070.
Right.
Goes into effect at the end of July.
Right.
And that,
July 29th.
I guess you got that memorized.
It's a big day.
It is. There are going to probably be some protests for and against the law going into effect.
Well, there probably will be, but I think that the majority of the people of Arizona and, again, of America overwhelmingly supports Senate Bill 1070. It's a good bill, and it's another tool for us to be able to use in order to get our borders under control. We cannot afford all this illegal immigration and everything that comes with it, everything from the crime into the drugs and the kidnappings and the extortion and the beheadings and the fact that people can't feel safe in their communities. It's wrong. It's wrong.
I read in your paper today that the autopsy report partial was released for that rancher who was murdered in March, gunshots, but they have held back some information because only the killer knows some information about his manner of death, so they use it as a law enforcement tool. But it said in the article that the killers were tracked 20 miles into Mexico, and that the thought is that this was somehow cartel or drug smuggler or somehow some scout for the drug cartel, so that people right on that border, that they're just in terror.
Well, it has always been suspicious that or the suspicion was that it was probably drug cartels. Mr. Krantz was a very good man. I did not know him personally, but from everyone that I have talked to about, and I have met him, but everyone that I've talked to just said that he was a very genuine, good-natured, mild-mannered kind of person, and there has been indication that he was trying to make an attempt to help the immigrants, the illegals that were on his ranch that probably have been part of of destroying his property, and something went wrong. Something went wrong. But our law enforcement have done a good job of tracking, and they've got a lot of information, and hopefully we'll be able to find out just exactly what did take place and what we can do in order to punish those people.
We talk about law enforcement. We had the marshal for this district, for Arizona, on the air last night, and he brought some of the weapons, and there's so much firepower. You know, the weapons that the cartels have that's bleeding over into Arizona, and I know, and of course, you know, the guns can. There's a lot of question where the guns come from. A lot of people. But regardless of the source, there's violence. There is
violence, terrible violence, and they're not just little play guns. They're really big, strong, dangerous guns, AK-47s, et cetera, and they wield them through the deserts to control the crowds that they're taking through and to protect their drugs. They're gangs. And we know what has happened in Mexico with the drug cartels. They have intimidated cities and elected officials, and they have the power because they've got the money, and they are forcing the spillover, I believe, over into our state. And if we don't get our borders secured, it's going to get worse. And we're not going to give up.
So what do you mean you give it? Suppose you don't hear from the president tomorrow. Suppose his office, that his representatives, his aides, they don't contact your office. Then what?
Well, we're going to continue down that path of beating the path to the White House and fight back.
How?
In any manner that we can. We are not going to put up with it. We simply are not going to put up with it. And we will write laws. If the state of Arizona has to do the job the feds won't do, well, then Arizona will have to do it. We love our state. We have a beautiful state, beautiful desert, beautiful people. And we love our state. And it is their responsibility. It is their responsibility, and dang it, they better do it. They better do it. They need to protect our borders.
At 5 o'clock tomorrow, if we don't get the call, are you going to call him?